Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TF1 show. Now, this week we're in between two F1 race weekends, so I thought, in the spirit of the Formula 3 season being over, in the spirit of, I guess, us being in the middle of silly season for F1 and F2, and of course F3, I thought it best to invite Keira on from Keira Megan, F1. She has a really, really cool YouTube channel that you must go check out. And she is also our resident feeder series expert.
Thank
so
you.
I invited Keira on to come tell us, the ladies and gentlemen, us people that don't really know that much about feeder series, about our favorite drivers in Formula 3 at the moment and where we think they'll end up. So Keira, the brief essentially is going to be, you need to tell us if they're going to move up into F2 or into another series, whether they're going to stay in F3 for another year, or we are basically going to never hear from them again and they are banished from the world of motorsport. So those are your three choices. And I mean, bonus point for good substantiation of your answer. So just keep that in mind.
I'm ready.
Oh, alrighty, so let's jump straight into our list. And the first one is probably an easy one. I thought let's start off easy. And that is our F3 champion, Oscar Piastri. So what do you think?
Oscar's 100% going up to F2. There's no two ways about it. I'm pretty sure he's even said on Twitter he's going up to F2. So Oscar's definitely going up. You can't not take the champion up. I'd like to see him in Prema. I should think he's probably going to Prema. I think they'd like to carry him on up in there. Yeah, God, 100% he's going up. He needs to. There's no way you can have the F3 champ not going up to F2. I don't think he's going to be banished. I think he's going to go straight up, probably with Prema. Hopefully not with ART. I don't quite trust them. I don't think you do either. So, yeah, probably Formula 2 Prema.
Cool. Happy with that. I think that makes sense. Let's move on to another consistent performer this year in Formula 3, David Beckman. What do you think?
Now, yeah, David had a rough year. Was it last year or did he miss last year? Anyway, but this year, really consistent. I don't know about, obviously, I hate having to come back to budget, but I don't know about his budget, whether he's, got good financial backing or not to make that step up to Formula 2. We know Formula 2 is not cheap. But David has shown great consistency this year. He's shown he's a fast driver. He's shown he's very competitive. So, yeah, I would definitely think that he should go up to F2. I don't know whether he will, because obviously it's not like he's a rookie that's came straight up, bossed it, and then is going to go straight up. He's done F3 type level for a while now. So I'm on the fence as to whether he will go up or not. I'd like to see him go up, but if not, he may just carry on doing F3 or he may go do GT or something.
I think that's sensible. To be honest, looking at the F2 grid at the moment, I don't know if there's going to be space for him, except if, I don't know, MP Motorsport, or I guess we never know what the driver market will do. But yeah, I guess if I had to think about David Beckman, it's just tough for me to see where he would go at this point in time. If you think about the talent that's probably going to be in F2 next year, and then all of the potential graduates from F3. So no, I agree 100%. Alrighty, third on our list, Liam Lawson, the Red Bull Junior. What do we think?
I love Liam Lawson. I actually, not plugging myself on your channel, but just done a video with Liam in it. I love Liam. I think he's great. I think he needs to go up now. He's shown his talent last year. He's shown his talent this year. Amazing couple of wins this year. Needs to go up. Obviously, Red Bull backed as well. Needs to go up into F2. Definitely ready for it. Definitely deserves it. Still very young as well. So he's got everything riding for him. Amazing driver. F2. Get up straight into F2. Definitely.
So I think, didn't he sneakily confirm that he might have an F2 seat on his Twitch channel the other day? I saw something about that. That he might be going to high tech.
Yeah, I was on his stream. He was having a little bit of a chat. I wasn't really paying attention, which I wish I did now. I'm pretty sure he was, giving some sneaky hints. They do seem to keep talking about things. Ollie Caldwell was on there saying things he should have been saying as well. So, yeah. Hopefully that's true and he'll go up with High Tech next year, because High Tech have been really good in Formula 2 this year, so I should think they'll be just as good next year.
Yeah, I think it was super interesting to see Lawson there as well, in amongst it. Alrighty, fourth on our list is one that maybe, I don't know if we had good expectations of him or not, but I maybe had high expectations and it didn't quite pan out. Enzo Fittipaldi. What do you make of him?
Enzo, start of the year was very difficult for him. Struggling at the back, but the back end of the season he did pick it back up again, and it was nice to see that he was able to kind of live up to his name in a way. the name and the money is going to probably factor into maybe him moving up next year, maybe with HWA into F2. I can see him moving up purely because of the Fittipaldi name. He done well at the back end of the season. I don't personally know if he's ready yet. I'd like to see him do another year in Formula 3. I feel like he needs a little bit more time to develop. But I have a slight suspicion he may move up just because of that name, and we see that a lot in motorsport. But he's still a good driver, but the start of the season I was very worried, but he did kind of pick himself back up, which is good.
Yeah, I'm worried if he moves up to F2 this year already, because I think it's dangerous to move the drivers up, that early on in the season.
Yeah.
So let's see what they do. I think personally he should stay in F3, like you said. I think another year could do him really well, and if he does well next year, then I think it's a shoo-in for him to move up. Okay, so let's talk about Logan Sargent next. So he was obviously, ahead in the championship right up until the last race, and then was pipped at the post by both Oscar Piastri and Thierry Boucher. So what do you make of Logan, and where do you think he'll end up?
Logan, honestly, I feel really bad for him because that was his championship. If you look at the standards, he literally would have won that hands down if he wouldn't have been taken out at the start. So, yeah, he needs to move up, definitely. He's got the talent. He's got the skill. I would like to see him up in Formula 2. I think he will, because as much as you just look at the standard and you say, oh, he came P3, it wasn't like that. And the teams can see that it wasn't like that. So I would love to see him up in Formula 2. Obviously, nice to have an American driver on the grid. Maybe Haas will be looking at that, and maybe a junior academy. I would like to see Ferrari or Red Bull or Renault pick him up into a driver academy, because he's definitely worth it. And that is the link into Formula 1 if you are affiliated with a team. So yeah, definitely F2 for me.
Cool. Next is Alex Peroni.
Alex had a good start to the season. I want to say he kind of fell off a little bit at the end. I kind of didn't see much of him at the end. But he's strong. He's a strong driver. Last year he wasn't a strong driver, but he done good bits of that Campos this year. Neither of the other two were able to do anything like he did. So he's been impressive. I don't think he'll make the step up to F2. I don't quite think he's ready yet. And it's not that it's not really that he's not ready. It's just I don't think there's room for him, and I wouldn't place him over certain other people. I'd like to see him stay in F3 again, just because it's so difficult once you leave F3 to go somewhere where it's actually not relevant, but somewhere that's in the spotlight for the Formula 1 teams. I feel like once you step away from that, it's very difficult to get back in. So I'm not sure whether he'll do another year of F3 or whether he may go off and do something else. But he's a good talent, and I'd like to, still see him racing somewhere.
Okay, that's fair enough. If he stays in F3, which team would you like to see him be picked up into?
I'd like to see him picked up in a Trident or somewhere, because obviously Trident show their form this year very well. They were right up there with Prema and ART. So I'd like to see him in a Trident, maybe a team that, isn't quite at the back, but is running at the top in the points consistently. Yeah. Okay,
I think that's a good shout. I also don't think he had a couple of good races at the beginning, especially he was quite strong. I remember in Austria and things like that, but then just disappeared for the majority of the season after that. So no, I think fully agree. Next one is a bit of a controversial one, or not controversial, but maybe, I don't know. Well, you can tell me what you think. Jake Hughes.
Jake. I personally think he's been hanging for too long in Formula 3. He's a good driver. He's got a lot of knowledge in the series. Obviously, he's done his F2 debut in Sochi. That went well. But I don't think he should move up full time. He doesn't have the financial backing either. He said openly he doesn't have the finances to do F2. So he's just kind of been lingering around F3 for a while now. Personally, I feel like he probably should move on and try other things like GT racing, or maybe get into World Endurance, or just something else. Because he's a great driver. It's great to see him on track, but I just feel like it's F3. You should be here. You should be a junior coming up to impress into Formula 1. I feel like being 26 now, I think it's kind of time for him to move on. I don't know what his plans are for next year, but yeah, kind of time to move on for me.
No, I agree. Nothing else I want to add there. I think he had a good run. Okay, cool. So next we have the winner of the Macau Grand Prix last year, Richard Verschoor, who also I think had a strong season here and there, but maybe not as consistent as he would have liked. What did you make of him, and where do you think he'll go?
Yeah, Richard was very strong at the start of the season. Dropped off a little bit in the middle, but kind of came back a little bit. It's very difficult. I'm not really sure. I'd like to maybe see him move up into Formula 2, but I don't quite know, really. I'm kind of on the fence with Richard. But again, Macau winner. Can't take that away from him. Amazing. Going to go in the record books for that. We know that it's so prestigious to win Macau. So, yeah, he was up and down this season. But overall, he scored some good points. He was 9th in the championship. So, he's done good things. MP may take him up into Formula 2 next year. So, I can see it maybe happening. If not, I feel like he may do another season in F3.
Cool. There you have it. Keira's authority. If she says it must be true. So, next we have another one that we had really high hopes for, I think, at the beginning of the season, and then obviously didn't quite end up in the way we wanted, with him withdrawing from the series a couple of races before the end, and that's Max Futrell. So, Keira, what do you make of Max's season, and where do you think he's going to go next?
So things are difficult for Max this year. Can't take away from Max is such a good driver. You know, Renault Euro Cup champion, Formula 4 champ. You know, he's a really good driver. Last year was okay for him, but this year just fell apart. I don't think it's anything to do with his driving ability. I don't think it's anything wrong with him. I just don't believe that him and the team worked together. It was really straining him mentally. So I think it's a good decision to step away and reevaluate for what he's doing next year. I don't think he's going to do F3 next year. I think he may find other options or explore something else. But then again, he might do F3. He might find, a team more suited to him. So we'll just have to see exactly what he does. I think he definitely has the talent and the ability to be on the F3 grid. I feel like he should be on the F3 grid, but it's so unpredictable. You just don't know where anybody's going to go or what teams are going to pick up who. I believe he should be on the F3 grid, but I don't know if he's going to be.
Yeah, I really hope it does work out for Max in whichever direction he does end up going, whether he does F3 or something else. Alrighty, our last driver on our list. Well, actually, no, sorry, we have two left. The first one is an interesting one. Alessio DELEDDA, Keira, the hero of Formula 3.
Oh, DELEDDA. I think he's got a lot of financial backing, hasn't he? I think that may be one of the reasons why he's there, I want to say. He's funny. He's entertainment. Not going to lie to you. He is a little bit of entertainment. I just like to see him on the grid purely for the entertainment purposes of it. We had Ranganathan in F2 last year. He's unfortunately left the series, but we had Lord DELEDDA this year for F3.
Thank goodness for DELEDDA. But if you think about it, how many races did he make exciting just with the fact that he caused a safety car, crashed into a wall? How many safety cars did we get just because Alessio DELEDDA can't drive a car? It's pretty amazing, I thought.
I don't know how I really don't know how he's that bad. I don't know how he does it.
No, it's quite a skill that he's built up, quite a reputation, and it's not like he was getting better over the year. You'd think like after a couple of races he might have gotten the hang of it.
No, absolutely not. Didn't. But it's quite entertainment. It's good entertainment. I'd like to see him F3 next year. Yeah, for the entertainment purposes.
All right. So Alessio, if you're listening, please do it for us. Do it for F3. Just bite the bullet and do another year. We'd love it. We'd love it if you're back. So Alessio DELEDDA back in F3 next year. And lastly, I thought I'd leave the third Prema guy for last, Fred Vesti. He was a rookie this year, did quite well. I thought he was probably the strongest Prema driver at the end. Don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I'm very on the fence with Fred as to whether I'd like him to move up or not. I'm just looking at gaps where there are in the market for him at the moment. And I wouldn't like, because he was technically the third Prema, I wouldn't like to see him get dropped down to another team that may not be as good. So I don't know whether it might be best for him to maybe do another year in Formula 3. So then hopefully a gap may open up in Prema the next year or whatever. But then at the same time, you have got Archie Leclerc coming up with Prema. So, we don't know how well that's going to go. So he's definitely got the talent to move up. But I kind of want to see him do another year in F3. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think it would make sense. If you think about like most of the Prema drivers, I mean, Schumacher did 2 years at Prema, didn't he? Schwartzman did 2 years. Armstrong did 2 years. So, I mean, I'm sure they'll do it. Prema would be like, you know what, Fred, let's do another year and then push for the championship next year.
Definitely.
I think that makes sense. Alrighty, Keira, that is my list. Obviously, there are more Formula 3 drivers that we can talk about, but to be honest, they're just not. We're not here for them. We're here for the newsmakers. We're here for the headline acts, and I think we've covered most of them today. So thank you so much for joining, despite some technical difficulties. It's dodgy sound here and there, but we battled through like Lord DELEDDA. We did not let that deter us. Yeah. We pushed through and hopefully still caused entertainment. So yeah, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you very much.
All right, and I'll see all of you guys next week when we do our Portuguese Grand Prix race recap. So that'll be the next episode. And maybe just as a last shout out, please go and subscribe to Keira's channel. She'll be linked below, and she has the greatest content, especially about feeder series. So go and check it out. Bye, everybody.
Bye.